It's that time of year again, where we gather together with our friends and our family, and I think it's about time I talk about the Marvel's best and greatest family, the X-Men. I know what you're thinking. Why not the Fantastic Four? And while the Fantastic Four is an amazing family, I just think that the X-Men is a better representation of what I believe to be a family. Growing up, the X-Men were a huge part of me loving comics, but I mostly really just love Wolverine. I was like a 10-year-old boy, and the cool knives coming from his hands were just straight up awesome, and the fact that he can heal anything was just incredible. It wasn't until I started getting older that I really started to enjoy all the other mutants. And one of the most interesting things about asking a Marvel fan is, who's your favorite X-Men? One of the most greatest strengths of X-Men is the huge amount of mutants that there are. Depending on how you consumed X-Men media, depending on the shows you watch, the movies you watch, the anime you watch, I don't know, even the way you consume the video games, depending on what media you consumed of the X-Men, your answer to who your favorite mutant is will definitely change. If you were to ask somebody, what's your favorite X-Men? Some people might say, oh, Jean Grey, Cyclops, Beast. Or if you said, hey, what's your favorite X-Men? Some people might say Rogue, Gambit, and Kitty Pryde. And the matter of fact is that so many mutants are amazing, each with their own backstories and their own individual reasons for existing. And one of the biggest draws for mutants is they're so individual. Sure, they might be a part of a group, but their ideals, their morals, their reasons for fighting are so independent from each other. Each mutant and X-Men is allowed to have their own character and their own backstory. For example, one of my favorite X-Men is Nightcrawler. Nightcrawler was raised in Germany and was a circus attraction. He was tired of being seen as a freak and decided to run away, but while he was running away, people hunted him down for how he looked. People thought he was a demon, and they thought he was disgusting and wanted to kill him. Also, he's very strong in his Catholic beliefs and believes everybody deserves love and happiness. You can see why he's one of my favorite X-Men, because that's pretty much all I do on this channel is talk about why everybody deserves happiness, second chances, etc. He is often considered the heart of the X-Men and is always willing to give people a helping hand and always give them a second chance. Or, what about another favorite mutant of mine, Colossus? He was raised in Russia, working on a small farm with his family, and he believes that protecting each other, and especially your loved ones, is all that matters. He believes that the key to true strength is the ability to be gentle when you need to be. He's also a kind soul who wants to help and protect the weak with his strength. And so far, just based off these two people, you would say, they kind of seem similar. But what about Warpath? Warpath or Thunderbird is a Native American who was raised on a reserve and was ashamed of where his people were and what they had become. He believes that his people were once a prideful and strong people who have been brought down by their oppressors and abandoned to be forgotten, and his goal is to show the world his people's strength. Or what about Jubilee? Jubilee was born into a wealthy family where she lived a pretty good life, where she thrived and explored her amazing gymnastics. She grew up as your normal high schooler, hanging out with her friends and going to school. Or what about Gambit, who was thrown away at birth because of his glowing eyes and was kidnapped by a group of thieves who trained him. Then he pickpocketed, used his thievery to survive, and used his mutant abilities to further in his endeavors. And honestly, I could go on and on about all sorts of different X-Men, each with their own backstory and reasoning for helping others. And so the question is, how does this make the X-Men a good family? The X-Men, or the Xavier School for the Gifted Youngsters, is a place where people from all walks of life can come to and be welcome and accepted. No matter what you look like, no matter what you believe in, no matter how you feel about yourself, there will always be room for you there. And this is a huge part about the X-Men that I feel like is so overlooked, is their ability to love one another. And sure, there's plenty of storylines where they fight, and there's plenty of times where members fight each other, but at the end of the day, they're still there for each other, and each believing and protecting one another from the world and people who hunt them down for being differently than all the other humans. Many of the mutants who come to Xavier's school are often abandoned by their family or looked down upon for being a mutant or hunted down like Nightcrawler was. So to many people, this is the escape that they need. This is the escape, the only way that they can be happy. And this is a crucial part of the whole X-Men and Xavier school. Professor X, or, Charles Xavier, is this head of this family. Even if it doesn't seem like it, he truly is just a figure to look up to. He's the father for many of these X-Men. His morals and his beliefs oftentimes do fall down onto his students, who really just love him and just really appreciate all that he's doing, because he's just the family and the father that they never had. Whether you like it or not, in the newest run of X-Men, they've explored this idea very, very interestingly. See, X-Men and mutants have pretty much all come to this island known as Krakoa. And this island is also a mutant, by the way. But, that's a story for another time. But pretty much this whole concept is that all the mutants have come together on this one island to be safe and protect one another. And they pretty much thrive there because they have all this technology. They can live freely. They can use their powers as they want. And I honestly think this is a really interesting approach to the X-Men and the whole idea of mutants being hunted down by the rest of the world for who they are and what they are. But one thing that this new run really does, I think, specifically well, is kind of what the topic I'm talking about today, is that it really does feel like the whole island of Krakoa is just one big family. You see, the only way you can come to Krakoa and the only way that you can live there is if you're a mutant. And you might think this is kind of messed up, they're kind of isolating themselves from the rest of the world. But at the same time, mutants have been hunted down and mistreated for years. So the fact that they have this one place where they can all be comfortable and live and just love each other is just honestly cool. And I think the whole idea of Krakoa being this safe haven and experimental place for mutants to just live is kind of cool. And like I said, the mentality of the place is very much like, we have to protect our family. Like, mutants are your family. It doesn't matter who you are. As long as you're a mutant, you're part of this group of people who just want to protect each other and make sure that they can thrive. And I think it's honestly nice, but also at the same time, even in classic X-Men, you had Charles's school and pretty much anybody could show up and anybody could join. And I think this concept is really nice, especially around the holidays, because I don't think you can get a better family than that. I know this time of year can be really hard on many people who either have a family that they don't like, or maybe you don't have a family. What I want to tell you is that family isn't blood. If you have an amazing family that loves you and cherishes you, then please enjoy them and realize how blessed you are. But if you don't, it's okay. The point is, family is people we choose to love and protect. No matter their background, no matter what they look like, even if you fight, even if you leave, if you truly love these people and believe that they make your life better, then they are your family. Blood doesn't matter. Love does. And for a lot of these X-Men and these mutants, they feel the same way about Xavier's school for the gifted. Many of these mutants had these rough past lives where they were either abandoned, hunted down, or just overall thrown away. But at the end of the day, they met these group of people and they saw something that they didn't have. They saw the X-Men as these group of people who not only loved each other, but wanted to protect each other and help others who also didn't have a family or a place to go. And I think that's true for most of the X-Men, is that most of the X-Men joined for the one fact that the X-Men and Professor Xavier was just collecting people to help. A lot of the X-Men joined because they saw what the X-Men were doing, which was protecting other mutants, and they saw that they just truly want to protect other mutants in the world. When we have a family, when we have a group of people that love each other, I think it's important to also invite people in. Invite new people, invite friends, help those who don't really have a family or don't have anybody to help protect them. I think the X-Men is the perfect example of what it means to be a true family, to look out for one another, to protect one another, to love one another. The X-Men may be flawed. Many members may leave, many members may betray each other, but at the end of the day, what truly matters is that we love the people we're with. And I know it can be really rough for a lot of people. And I know it can be rough when you don't have a family or your family doesn't like you or believe in what you're doing with your life. Maybe you're going to art school. Maybe you're pursuing YouTube like I am. But just know this. We're all unique. We're all individually special. We all have our own backstories. We all have our own reasons, things that we believe in. But at the end of the day, I think that we can truly come together and love each other and care about each other. So this holiday season, this Thanksgiving, if you don't have anybody there for you, just know this. I love you. I care about you. And although I may not have a mansion for all of us to come together, know this. You're not forgotten. You always have a family. And there's people out there who will love and protect you. You just have to find them. I'm Canned Ideas. This is my little rant about how the X-Men are the greatest family in the Marvel Universe. Although they may not be a family, they love each other. They care about each other. They get into fights. Also, a lot of weird things happen, like phoenixes coming from the sky and possessing one another. People die and get reborn out of eggs and come back. But you get the idea. Have a happy holidays, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed this little rant of X-Men. I'm probably going to do a video on Nightcrawler. That's what I originally wanted to do, but I thought it would be kind of a nice theme to do with, like, oh, the X-Men is just a happy family of misfits and people that really don't belong anywhere, so they come together with the X-Men and Charles's School for the Gifted. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I inspire you, because honestly, at this point, this channel is my love of comics and also a hope that you become inspired and you don't feel alone. I'm Canned Ideas. Have a good holiday. Love you guys. And there's always extra ham at my Thanksgiving. So put in the comments down below if you want some ham. I don't know. Love you guys. Take care.